The international business world is still in a state of shock after a series of major financial scandals. Billions of dollars, pounds and euros have gone missing. Huge companies which once seemed part of the corporate landscape have virtually vanished overnight. Highly respected business leaders have found themselves in court. So what exactly is going on in the world of business? In this program, we're going to look at some of these scandals. We'll also look at the implications of these for business, now and in the future. Let's begin by looking at the facts and some of the most high-profile cases of recent years. For years, Enron was one of America's most respected and successful energy producers. However, in 2002, it was investigated by the US financial regulator, the Securities and Exchange Commission. And it became clear that Enron had dramatically inflated its profits. In the words of one commentator, the company's success was built on an elaborate scam, a deliberate plan of deception and fraud. Of course, this quickly drew people's attention to Enron's auditors, Arthur Andersen. The obvious question was, why did the auditors, who were responsible for verifying the true state of the company's finances, not know what was going on? It was soon discovered that Andersen, in an unsuccessful attempt to conceal its actions, had destroyed many thousands of Enron documents. Arthur Andersen was subsequently found guilty in a major court case, a finding which effectively destroyed it as a company. Which brings us on to one of the biggest accounting frauds in history, WorldCom. After investigation, WorldCom confessed that it had exaggerated its profits by $3.8 billion. That's 2.5 billion pounds in one 14-month period. Just 2 months later, after further investigation, the company was forced to admit that these figures were too low. WorldCom had actually exaggerated its profits during this period by almost twice this amount. In other words, the true figures were closer to $7 billion, or 4.8 billion pounds. One of the interesting points about all of these cases is that the fraud and deceit originated at the very highest levels. People should be able to look to their business leaders for inspiration and direction. But in these cases, the main problem was a real failure of leadership. The leaders of these companies were pursuing success in an utterly ruthless and uncaring way, an approach which proved in the end to be very costly both for them and the companies concerned. No company exemplifies this better than Parmalat. For decades, Parmalat was Italy's leading producer of milk, fruit juice, pulped tomatoes, and many other food products. From a single delicatessen in the early 1960s, the Tanzi family built Parmalat into a company with an annual turnover of 7.6 billion euros, employing over 36,000 staff in 30 countries worldwide. In December 2003, however, auditors discovered a black hole of approximately 4 billion euros in the company's accounts. However, the financial situation was, in fact, much worse than that, which led to a total of 29 of Parmalat's former bosses, including the founder, Callisto Tanzi, facing legal action. Clearly, this is a vitally important issue for the international business community. If these financial scandals continue, they will have serious consequences for investor confidence. So governments here in the UK and in other countries are in no doubt about the best way forward. They're looking at ways to regulate business even more closely. They're considering legislation that would ensure companies had to be absolutely open and honest with their shareholders and their customers. But many people in business believe that this is unnecessary. Besides, they say, business has already begun to put its own house in order. The simple fact is, companies that break the law rarely prosper for long. Behaving as the leaders of Enron or WorldCom have done is no way to run a business. It's not good for investors, for employees, or for companies. Indeed, nowadays, most companies are acutely aware of the importance and value of conducting their business in a highly ethical way. These companies are adopting a super ethical approach to business, and they're finding that this approach is proving to be highly profitable. In the UK, for instance, the market for ethical goods and services is now worth £6.9 billion per year. This includes fair trade products, which are currently one of the fastest growing sectors in the UK retail market. You can also see the same trend right here in the City of London, where over £7.4 billion is invested every year in ethical financial products. But whatever approach is taken, regulation, leaving the problem to be resolved by business itself, or actively pursuing the ethical option, one thing is clear. Unethical business is bad business, and that's no good for anyone.